Hi, I'm Karen Kubicko, and today I'm reading from my book, Life is Just Another Class, One Soul's Journey Through Past Life Regression. Chapter 6, Duty to Family Changes My Lifetime Outcome. Gertrude, Gertie, Schmicknied, Europe, 14,000 BC. I love my children. I love my children as Gertie and now as Karen. My children, while I am Gertie, Jeremiah, and Alexandria, are the same souls I know today as Kyle and Clarissa. They are part of my immediate soul group. My son Jeremiah is my current son Kyle, the older child in both lifetimes. My daughter Alexandria is my present-day daughter Clarissa. I actually contemplated naming her Alexis. A mother at heart, Gertie wants the best for her kids, her whole family. Any mother wants this for her children. One of the things I noticed while uncovering my past lives is that I often chose lifetimes in which I am tending to others first above my own desires. I do my duty by taking care of others. While doing my duty was a secondary life lesson for Gertie, it had a great impact on that lifetime. The mother-in-law Fanny, that I care for as Gertie, is my current-day mother. Note that currently she is claustrophobic. As you read about my life as Gertie, you will understand where my mother's fear of small spaces originated. My main lesson was to learn that I could not do it all. For clarification, the words which flowed into my mind during the regression were, I am not invincible. Invincible in the sense that I can do anything I put my mind to doing. Trying to do many more things than time allows often becomes overwhelming. We know that every decision that we make, even mundane day-to-day decisions, can sometimes cause large changes in our lives. As Gertie, I decided to follow the brief happiness of my children and live to the right of a large hill. During the lifetime review after my death, I found that had I listened to my intuition and traveled towards the left to make a home, I would have experienced an easier life. I worked to the point of exhaustion as Gertie so that I could provide for my family. Furthermore, I often gave up my ration of food so my children could have something more to eat. I felt this was my duty to my family. Gertie tried to do too much. I noticed a definite coincidence in my current life. During the years that I had asthma symptoms, I would have severe breathing issues and breathing-related illnesses if I tried to take on too much. Gertie's lifetime encountered lots of dust that affected her breathing. Remembering her lifetime helped cure my asthma. I learned so much from remembering Gertie's life. I recognized that I needed to make changes in my lifetime as Karen. I needed to slow down and take it easy. Just because I know how to do something does not mean I actually have to do it. I am learning more each day. I love and care for my children, but now I do things that make me happy too. As a side benefit, I am getting better at listening to my intuition. My lifetime as Gertrude Gertie Schmicknied, circa 14,000 BC. I stoop down as I walk through the door of my home. The undersized, narrow entrance helps keep the wind from whipping inside the opening. Our house is carved into a cliff on the side of a hill. The area is part of a dried-up riverbed. I can see the etched lines made from various ancient water levels on the side of the cliff. It is beautiful here, but I do not take the time to notice. I step out into the morning sunshine and catch sight of the large pointed mountain far off in the distance. Every morning when I walk out of my home, I can immediately see this large mountain looming across the way on the far end of the plain. It is alone out there. I understand how it feels to be alone. We are the only people for miles. Beyond the next family, there are not many others. Even the mountain is at least a 3-day walk from our home. I care for my 2 small children and my elderly mother-in-law, Fanny. At this point in the regression, I am not sure yet what happened to the father of the children, but there are no adult male figures living with us. My eldest child, Jeremiah, is 6, and my daughter, Alexandria, is only 5 years old. Knowing their ages, I realize I have not been without a man for very long. I turn back into the house to check on the kids one more time before heading out to work in the fields. It is like walking into a maze whenever you enter our home. Once you duck down and walk in the entranceway, you have to make an immediate sharp left turn, walk down a hallway, then make a right to go into a room. Little shelves carved into the walls hold candles to light the way. Even with no actual door covering the entrance, it can be very dark inside our carved-out home. The darkness is fine for me since I do not spend a lot of time inside my home. I only use it for sleeping. I spend a majority of my time outside tending the fields. I get up very early in the morning and work well into the night. I am a farmer living and working on a large open plain at the base of a wide valley. A few trees dot the land. I use an immense Y-shaped wooden tool to work the fields. Its thick wood curves down towards the ground into a point. It is awkward and heavy for me as a woman, but I manage. I am tough. The wood from the tool hurts my hands, making them calloused and rough. I see no animals around to help till the land or otherwise. Years ago, a great sickness spread across the land that killed man and beast alike. I realize now my mate did not survive this. Many did not survive. Armed with fear, we moved away, far away. My children's well-being was at stake. We traveled on foot for weeks to get to this outlying area. When we found this carved dwelling, we decided to call it our home. The closest towns are Vassal and Strickhausen. During the regression, I get the impression that I am near these cities, but they are still a considerable distance away. I am given 21st century names. Names are often hard to understand clearly during a regression due to pronunciation and spelling. I could be wrong about Vassal. I located a town named Kassel in Germany. Interestingly, Leitersee, a large, long ago erupted volcano, is near both Kassel and Strickhausen, Germany. We are so far away from any city or town. People are sparse since the Great Sickness. We rarely see others. Our long, flat plain stretches for as far as I can see in both directions. My hillside home and the large mountain flank the plain. This grassy plain works great for growing grain. I plow as much as I can to make my field large. As I prepare the field, I pick rocks from the ground and toss them to the side. I intend to plant the seeds I saved from last year's harvest. It is hard work, but I am so determined that I rarely take breaks. Sweat and dirt cover me. My children are not old enough to help, and my mother-in-law is too frail. Preparing land for crops is always hard labor. I knew it would take weeks to get it prepared for planting. Exhausted, I look forward to the end of each day. Thank goodness I only have to do this once a year. I have to take care of my family. That is my #1 priority. I need to grow these crops for our survival. We have hardly any food left from last year's crop, so it is essential for this new crop to grow well. I dry the harvest and use the grain for food year-round. I decide it is necessary for me to plant an even larger field this year in order to have more food and make it last longer. The plants that grow look like some type of grain, maybe a type of wheat. Once matured, the golden-colored stems grow long and sway in the wind. It is meditative to watch the grain dance with the movement of the air. I worry endlessly about how am I going to feed my children. They are my incentive to keep working harder and longer hours. Often it is very dark when I stop for the day. I believe that if I plant more, there will be more food and less worries. Already we ration our daily food. I rarely eat more than once per day so that food is available for my growing children. I am not so concerned about thirst since we collect rainwater for drinking. I am obsessed with worry that my kids will starve. I love them so much. I smile as I watch my children run and play in the field near our home while I work. The children are always happy to see me when I finish working for the day. My name is Gertie, short for Gertrude. My last name sounds like Schmickneed. I wear thick leather shoes and a simple short brown work dress to tend the fields. I am young, maybe in my 20s. I always watch the cycles of the moon and the stars to know when to plant my fields. We have never kept any other type of calendar. I quickly realize that I am trying to do too much. I have taken on an excessive amount of land to work properly. I doubt it will ever be ready. Finally, the crops sprout and grow. I am happy to see areas that show good growth. What worries me is that there are spots of stunted growth and sections with barren land. I am very critical of myself for this. I have a very large field to keep weeded and worked. Even after the plants grow a few weeks, I spend most of each day tending to them. Months go by. It starts to look a little better, but I feel proud of my accomplishment. I spend so much time working and tending to this large field, even though I have little outcome from it. I did not give it the same patience, love, and care that I did in the past with a smaller field. Before, I gave individual attention to each plant and really focused on one small area. I have grown tired of being hungry and sincerely believed a larger field might help. One day I woke up ready to give more love and care to my whole field. A strange smell fills my nostrils. I think, what is that odd smell in the air? Alarmed, I jumped up and looked around our house for the source while making my way to the door. As I step out of the doorway, I stop immediately in my tracks. Stunned, I stand there, mouth agape, watching the dark, sinister blizzard fall out of the sky. The air is thick with gray ashes raining down upon everything. Fear spreads across my face. I strain to see my precious field of food. Layers of dust and ashes cover my treasured plants. I let out a scream which wakes the kids. They look outside. This unusual weather scares them too. The dust comes inside, so I do my best to block the doorway to prevent more from coming inside. This makes it quite dark inside our home. The kids want to keep looking outside. It is hard for all of us to stay cooped up indoors, practically in the dark. The air is so heavy with gray dust, it makes it very hard to breathe, and we all take turns coughing. The dust and ash pour down for days. I sigh with exasperation from the situation. We cannot see any rays of sunshine because of the darkness caused by the ashes. I walk back and forth in our small home, impatiently waiting for the ashes to end. I constantly peek out the doorway to watch the damage happening. I keep the kids inside. I think, this cannot be safe. It must be some omen from the gods above. The dust makes it increasingly harder each day for all of us to breathe. Finally, the pouring of ash ends. Through the hazy sky, I see the mountaintop has burst off. I can only assume this is what released all the ash. I walk gingerly on the ash-covered land to estimate the damage to my crops. The ash crunches and flies up from under my feet as I walk towards the fields. As I get closer, I see several thick layers of ash covering my crops. I stand in disbelief and cry, "We are already so hungry." I worry about starvation again. The poor things droop since the ash weighs them down. I kneel down and clear off a section of plants. As I do, my tears drop onto the ashes, turning them into little mud spots. It takes hours to get a small area of plants cleared off. I hope the sun comes back and the dark clouds leave the sky. Dust flies into the air as I work. Ashes cover my clothes and body. My hands have turned black. Coughing, I am sure my lungs are black with dust. I find and remove a few dead animals and birds in the field. I doubt these tiny creatures are safe to eat. I focus on one small area of crops, just as I did in the past. Maybe I was divinely inspired to do so, but it works. I focus on one part of my large field and I really care for it. I cannot do everything. When we hid indoors while the ashes fell, I thoroughly enjoyed the time I spent with my children. My kids are so important to me. I want to play with them more. By focusing on one small, manageable area of crops, I easily find the time to have fun with the children. I spend precious time with them as much as possible. My mother-in-law became even frailer during the ashes episode, so I need to take better care of her as well. Months pass and all goes well for a while. I slowly harvest the crop and food becomes plentiful again. It is nice not to worry about our next meal. I start the drying process with some of the harvest. Rain has tamped down the ashes into dirt. Everything seems back to normal. While tending the fields late one afternoon, I hear a piercing sound coming through the sky. I look for a bird, even though I know it does not sound like one. I only see the sun glaring down at me as I go back to work. Minutes later, I hear a few more high-pitched screeches coming across the sky. They shoot from the direction of the mountain. I slowly turn and look towards the ominous beast of a mountain. Shortened from the ash spewing, it has now taken on a menacing appearance. I stand there, wide-eyed as things jettison out of it. At first, only a few small red-hot rocks slam into the ground. Small fires dot the land with streams of smoke floating up to mark their place. The grass and crops catch fire. Flaming rocks pour out of the sky at a faster rate as they increase in size. I think, what did I do to upset the gods? Do they not want us to eat? First it rains ashes and dust. Now it rains balls of fire. I scream in fear and run. I watch, horrified, as I run for cover. Loud, searing sounds fill the air as the fireballs propel through the sky. I hear them crash and slam into the ground all around me. Deafening screeching sounds echo in the valley. The firebombs range in size from pebble to boulder. My eyes stay fixated upon my children as I race back towards the house. I see my kids screaming and running around outside trying to avoid the molten rocks. They are too far away to run back inside our home. Terribly frightened and shaking with fear, they scream, "Mama, Mama!" I shout back to them, I'm coming as fast as I can." A sickening feeling forms in my stomach. I never felt so much fear. The fireballs come down faster, and now there are more of them. I cry, my poor babies. It is overwhelming. Fireballs hit me in the chest and shoulder as I run. One knocks me over. I get up and continue to run. There are too many fireballs piercing through the sky. Now they rain down on all sides of us. The sound of them searing through the sky is more deafening than before. I cannot hear anything else, even the sounds of our screaming. I fight to see through my tears so I can stay focused on my children while I run towards them. I finally reach my children. We embrace, and I immediately... This is hard to read, just letting you know, because I'm re-experiencing it, remembering it too at the same time. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. I finally reach my children. We embrace and I immediately hover over them. The molten rocks smash into everything all around us. There is nowhere to go. It is too late. We are stuck out in the open. I try to protect my children with my own body to save them from the pain. I kneel over them and try to give them cover, but my malnourished body is too thin to protect them. Fire-burning rocks pelt us until a large rock hits me square on the back and I die instantly. It feels like instant bliss as I leave my physical body. My children die. Since I died moments before them, I watch their spirits leave each of their bodies. I smile as I watch this transformation. I sigh in relief. I know they no longer suffer. In spirit, I grab hold of each of their hands, then hug them close to me. It is peaceful, like a release to die and be free of pain. It feels good to be free of the heavy shell of a body. I feel light, liberated as we float. The rocks no longer hurt us in this form. I look back at our home. Burning rocks cover the entrance. My mother-in-law stays trapped inside our cliff-dwelling home. She was already very frail and became even more so during the dust storm. I hope she joins us soon. Our deaths leave her without anyone to care for her. I know there is nothing I can do for her now. I pray angels come to her aid. Together as spirits, we float up into the sky towards a growing, loving light. To the right of us, I kiss my kids. They say, "Mama," lovingly. The light emanates love and draws us towards it. We can see silhouettes of those waiting to greet us in the light. I tell them, "Let's go. We're done here. Are you ready?" They had so much hardship in their short lives. We go towards the light. It feels so loving. It is as though we enter into sunshine. The light shines so bright, but our eyes adjust easily. As we walk into the light together, the life we just left fades away. My spirit guide Lena advises me, as you walk back into the light, this earth class that is a dreamland falls away. Not that it is not real, It is. Your focus becomes what is through the light. Your vibration rises. It is harder to see the lower vibration levels of Earth. It is not permanent, just temporary. Once in the light, many people greet us, several of whom died from the plague. Everyone lines up in one huge semicircle to greet us as usual. I see friends, neighbors. I say hello and mingle among them. I thank them for being in my life. Some respond with, "No problem. How did your lessons go?" It felt as if they were asking, "How did you do on your research paper?" It is, however, unusual that there are animals there to greet us. Not small animals, but very large animals that are big like an ox. These animals died in the plague too. The whole room sparkles. It is golden, glittery, and sparkly with little flashes of white light. Now that we have met with each person present to greet us, it is time to receive healing from the healing ones. We each go into separate rooms for treatment. I see the door to the treatment rooms on the left. I only need one healing angel this lifetime. They rest their hands on my head. It feels wonderful getting this healing energetic massage. The energy feels like intense Reiki, very loving. I feel so light. I talk telepathically to my children to make sure they're doing fine while I receive the healing treatment. They each have 3 healing angels to heal them of their trauma. Afterwards, I walk with Lena into the Hall of Records. I pull my Akashic record book off the shelf and lay it on a nearby table. Hazel, who works in the Hall of Records, walks by and asks, "Do you need any help?" Surprised by the request, I respond, "Thank you, I'm fine." I learn what could have happened with my life as Gertie. If I had walked to the left instead of towards the right, where I found the cave-like house, I would have had a different life ending. I had considered going in that direction, but finding the house at a time when we were weary from travel changed my mind. Had I gone to the left, I would have been closer to a water source, making it easier to find and have food. The sickness we were escaping was similar to the Black Plague. The kids were sad from all the death, and finding the cave house made them happy, so we stayed. If only I had listened to my intuition. I felt disappointed in myself. Lena says, "Still, your spirit lives on. It is okay." She paused, then said, "See, you're not really dead." I smile and feel peace. Later, I pick out my next lifetime. My council member shows me 3 choices. I do not like 2 of the choices, so I ask for 2 more. After reviewing them, I chose to be a little boy. Several years after I leave my life as Gertie, I am born as Raphael, a little boy with dark hair and dark brown eyes. Continuing my soul journey with Kyle and Clarissa, I see they become my parents this time. I feel the weight of gravity again now that I am back on Earth. I see myself as Raphael, lying in the grass, gazing up at the stars. At the end of the regression, I offer forgiveness, essential to healing. Specifically, I forgive the volcano, its ash and molten rocks for killing my children and me. I forgive myself for trying to do too much. Finally, I release the frustration stored energetically in my lungs. Approximately 10,000 years later, I am born as Hodges in New York.